Right folks, I recently got myself one of these IP wireless security cameras. This model is from Zmodo, the ZP-IBH13-W, and it had great reviews on Amazon. There was a good YouTube video. It was only £50, 50 UK pounds, and great YouTube video saying how the guy had tested out a lot of the features and found it to be a really good model, so I thought I'd give it a go. And I have to say I found it very straightforward to set up with the mobile app, the Android mobile app, but less straightforward to set up to, for example, record video automatically when it was triggered by motion, and to receive notifications when it was triggered by motion. So there's a program which the company distributes via its website called Zviewer, which is supposed to do those things, or it's supposed to send you notifications and take sort of screen grabs when something's happening. That doesn't work brilliantly, or at least I couldn't get it to work brilliantly. I've managed to get some alternatives working. So this isn't a professional video, this is just very rough and ready with a GoPro camera, just to stick it on YouTube, just to basically share with you how to get the ZP-IBH13-W working properly with your phone, with your desktop computer, recording videos automatically triggered by motion and sending you notifications. So if you're looking for something super professional, go elsewhere. If you want some advice for how to get this camera working, then stick with me. There are a few things printed underneath the camera. I'm going to try and not show you every last number because I don't want everyone else collecting my camera, but you can see there, for example, that there's a QR code which you need to scan with your phone to get it straightforwardly working with the smartphone app. And as I say, that way of connecting to the camera and just being able to view the video on the go is really straightforward. And there's another number underneath there that's important, which they just call, what do they call it? ID. They just call it ID, and I'll come back to that in a minute. That certainly was important for me in getting it working. And the number there underneath the bottom barcode, I'm pretty sure is the MAC address of the device, which may help you to work out what the IP address of the camera is, which is the really crucial thing I discovered in getting everything working. Anyway, I'll just pop that down there for a second and I'll talk you through it. So as I say, the key thing for me, now you're going to have to excuse little white bits of paper stuck on my screen. I'm not a network wizard. I'm not too sure whether giving away my IP address of various bits and bobs is a problem, so I've just stuck with pieces of paper there just to be on the safe side. The thing I found very hard was finding out the IP address of the device itself. It's not printed anywhere. When I connected to my router directly using an Ethernet cable, which is one of the things that the internet recommended doing, I was getting the MAC address of the device but not the IP address. Now that may just have been a vagary of my particular router. You may have more luck. But anyway, a crucial thing in getting everything up and running for me was a little website called IP Cam Scanner. I'm sure you can Google for that. If not, you might be able to read the URL there. Clicking that, it scanned the network that my device was attached to, pulled up the URL, the IP addresses of more or less everything that was associated with the network, and worked out which of them were most likely to be the IP address of the camera. And the important thing that helped me to realise, which doesn't say anywhere in the instructions, is, now you're going to have to bear with me, I've got a Mac and a PC running on this machine at the same time, so that's going to be a bit confusing. We're looking at the Mac at the moment, just going to move over to the PC. Yeah, what I didn't realise, what they don't tell you in the instructions, is that there's actually, I don't know what it is precisely, like a little web server or something in the device. So when it's connected to your network, if you open Internet Explorer, and it has to be Internet Explorer, this doesn't work in Firefox or Chrome or whatever, and you just type the IP address into the search bar, and I've covered it up there, maybe unnecessarily, but bear with me, I'm not an expert. It brings up a little login portal there for you. Now, depending on whether or not you've got ActiveX controls already enabled on your computer, you may need to click this little button here and go through an installation of ActiveX controls for this to work. Assuming you've got that, you type in the username, which I think the defaults on this particular model are probably going to be the same for everyone. Certainly what worked for me was admin as the username, and then 6 number ones, so 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and you log in there. And that basically logs you in to the device. Oh. Well, it did. What's going on? And then maybe it's just, oh, there we go. I was just having a wee think then. Quite sure what was going on there. So that's, you know, you're actually looking at a web page effectively that the camera itself is serving up from presumably some electronics within itself. And you've got various options there to control and configure the camera. So it's a way of setting some things up. If you can't manage to get the program that they recommend you use, this thing Zviewer, which you download from their website to work. So for example, you can go here into the settings menu and you can do things like say where you want it to save files if you're recording, and you can set up, in theory you can set up motion detection and these sorts of things from here. As I say, I didn't manage to get sort of natively their own software to do the motion detection and the alerts and that sort of stuff in the way that it's supposed to. I'm going to show you other ways of doing that, but as a first step you might be reassured to know that you've kind of successfully found the IP of the address of your camera by first of all doing this this search that I recommended to you. So IP cam scanner, scan my IP, it will search for it, suggest some IP addresses, and then you can type them into the address bar of Internet Explorer. If you've got, I try not to use Internet Explorer, but there you go. You have to use it for this. That will connect to your camera, and you can see hopefully there I just stuck a ticking clock on top of the router just to reassure you that that's actually working. So you've got a connection then to the camera. But how to go about using it in the way that you probably really want to use it. Well, the thing I'll first of all show you is how to get it working on their Zviewer software, albeit that this probably won't do everything you want it to, but you can download and install Zviewer software. To get a camera working you need to add device, and then there are these 4 options for adding a device, so LAN search, ID search, IP search, DNS search. This bit of software is designed for a whole range of different cameras, and this particular camera doesn't support all of these options. Instructions recommend you use LAN search, presumably with the device directly plugged into your router with a LAN cable. That didn't work for me. I did find, however, that ID search works. So that there's a number, as I say, printed on a sticker underneath the front of the camera. And for me, that's this long number here. I've obscured the last 3 digits in case anybody wants to fiddle around with my camera. This was 13PP09OV0086. So it's quite a long number, and typing that into this ID search box here, so just typing it into device ID and then clicking next and then add, and that added the camera. So I could at least view the camera on my desktop. Great. I wanted it to send me alerts when something happened, and I wanted it to automatically record videos when something happens. I couldn't get either of those to work with this program. It's supposed to send you alerts. I configured the email properly, but the alerts never came through. And this particular bit of software doesn't support recording videos, but don't despair. On Zmodo's own website, you can maybe see the URL there, whether my camera's going to focus on that. There is a page called How to Set Up Zmodo IP Cameras to Record Motion Detection Without an NVR. And if you follow the instructions there, basically it works. So it directs you towards a bit of software called Genius Vision, which you install on your computer, and it gives you some instructions as to how to set it up using something called an RTSP address, which is something I'd never heard of before. So if I flick back to my PC, I'll show you this working. So that was Zviewer, which we don't like, so bye bye Zviewer. This is this bit of software called Genius Vision. So, I mean, I've got it working there, but when you first want to get it going, the instructions talk you through config system. Where's it gone? Maybe I've clicked the wrong thing. New channel, sorry. New channel, and then this is where you're putting in your options for ITSP video source. So I'll cancel that and just show you this one, which is working. I called it and again, because you can see it took me quite a few attempts to get all of this working. But what you're basically aiming for is an RTSP video source, and the long URL is something like, where have I got it? RTSP : / then your IP address. Don't type in your IP address, that's me just trying to help you out there. :10554 / TCP / AV0_0. And you need to make sure that the use TCP streaming button is ticked, and login information is the login information for the device itself, which, as I told you before, is admin and then 6 ones all in a row. So if you add that, a bit of luck, your device will appear. And then there are more instructions on this page here, further down the page. So this is back to the Zmodo, what do they call themselves? Zmodo knowledge base. There are more instructions further down the page for how to set it up to start recording, and for that recording to be triggered by motion, either motion of a small part of the screen or the whole of the screen, and what levels of sensitivity and so on. And you've actually got an awful lot of control. This program, this Genius Vision thing, is, it's maybe not the sort of slickest in terms of the user interface, but it's got more options than you could ever wish for, so you can control just about anything, including notifications. So you can download onto your phone an app called Pushbullet, which I'd never heard of before, and then you can give this program the right authorizations to interact with the Pushbullet server, and then as long as you've got this program running on the desktop of your computer, it will detect motion, record video automatically, send a notification to your phone via Pushbullet that something interesting has happened, along with a still image of what it was that triggered the video. So that's working quite nicely. There is an app for I think probably Android and iPhone. I have an Android device, which allows your phone to talk to this desktop-based server and to look at the videos that it's recorded. I haven't quite finished setting that up yet, largely because I've got a different option working, which was easier to set up. But you can do that. So if you want a system which records video, automatically notifies you that it's there, this desktop client, Genius Vision NVR, it's free to download, does all of that, and it is possible to connect your phone up with an app to this, to then look remotely and review those videos and see what it was that was going on. Just to tell you about another option that does much the same thing, with less control, less refined control, but with an easier user interface. It's just an alternative option. Just switching back to my Mac, is this company iVideon. So it works in a similar way. You download, here on the left, this is a little desktop server that you download and configure, and again you're configuring it with this same information. So it's this basically, crucially, it's this RTSP information. It goes in a slightly different way, but you're basically putting in the same stuff. So it's the IP address of your device, whatever they call it, port 10554, and you're making sure it's aware that it's using TCP, video streaming, admin, and 6 ones. And then you connect. So this is me looking at a website interface. Now the nice thing about this is it's quite straightforward with this to configure a folder, a network drive, a Dropbox drive, whatever else that the desktop server saves videos to, and I found it quite straightforward in the settings menus here to set up the parameters I was after for motion detected video recording. So basically when the system detects motion, it starts recording video, saves it onto your desktop. But then, because of the link between the website and your desktop server, you then have the option, and if you can see all these little snippets here along the bottom, you can go back via the web interface from anywhere, anywhere in the world. As long as your computer is switched on and the server's running, you can record little snippets. You can purchase cloud storage. I chose not to do that, but if you didn't want to have to be running a desktop server on your own computer, you can purchase cloud storage, and it would record these snippets to the cloud rather than to your own computer. So the final thing I'll show you, probably heard my phone making lots of noises there, is just a whole load of notifications that have come through. Oops. So notifications here from this top one with the green tick. Those are notifications from Pushbullet from Genius Vision via the Pushbullet app. So that's just telling me that 6 particular motion incidents have been detected. In Genius Vision, you've got really fine control over how far apart the different instances of motion are for them to actually be deemed to be individual and trigger recording or trigger a notification, and you can really finely control how long the videos are and that sort of thing. So those are there. I could look at those if I wanted to. I've got a notification from the Zviewer app that's installed on the phone about some activity, and the one I'm going to show you in particular here is notifications from the iVideon app, which is a companion app to the website here. So if I open that up, that's showing me screen grabs of particular things that have happened. I've got the sensitivity very high, so it's actually being triggered by the little lights blinking on the server and the hand of the clock triggering around. But basically those are screen grabs. You can then click on those, and it's then going to connect to the web server on your computer, and now that's playing me a little video of of the activity. It's not working particularly well. Weirdly, the resolution you get through this seems to be better if you have brought the window for the web server program to the front of your computer screen. So presumably it's to do with how the computer is allocating resources to the different programs that are running. And in my case, I've got a Mac and a PC running on this MacBook Pro at the same time, so that may be why the resolution dropped off there until I brought this program to the front. So, I hope that helps. I've faffed around for a long time, and the real critical thing for me was finally finding the IP address that was being used by or had been assigned to the camera itself. And as I say, that was this IP cam scanner thing that did the trick for me, but in your case you may be able to connect direct to your router with an Ethernet cable and open up its interface, and that will tell you all the connected devices. As I say, the MAC address is printed in very small under the barcode of the camera, and that will help you again identify basically which IP address it has if you're doing it that way. In my case, I did it this way. Confirmed I had the right IP address by going into Internet Explorer, typing in the IP address into the search bar. It brought up the login interface, and I was able then to access the device's own little kind of interface, which you can connect directly to through Internet Explorer, which is that, but it's not great. I got Zviewer working finally, but I really don't recommend it. So the two things I'd recommend: download and install Genius Vision if you're running a PC. It really works extremely well. It's got all the options you could need. Via Pushbullet you can get notifications to your phone, and via the companion app, I haven't set it up yet, but you can review the videos that were recorded onto your computer. If you're running a Mac, or you want a slicker user interface with fewer options but easier setup, then iVideo works an absolute treat with the companion app. And as I say, the critical things is this information here. So RTSP, your IP address, and then the information 10554. I won't repeat it, but that kind of stuff there. That should get you going. I wish you a lot of luck. I hope you find it easier and quicker than I did, and this rather ropey, all in one take, not very professional video is of some help to you. Feel free to write some things in the comments, ask me any questions, I'll try and help you out. Don't write comments like "get a tripod" or "that video was rubbish" or "you should have used a screen recorder." I'm just doing this as a favour to you guys, because I've got better things to do with my time than spend a day of my life doing a professional video when really I'm just trying to help a few people out. So I hope it helped. Take care. Enjoy using your camera. It's a great camera. It works really well. I've had it out and about, connecting with the app all over the place. Some of the reviews on the Android App Store suggest to me that people haven't got it configured correctly. I seem to have managed to get it configured correctly, and it's working brilliantly. Can't fault it. Right, good luck. Bye.